All right, Mike, man. Tell me about it. You're Oklahoma City kid talking to a Tulsa kid right here. We the two largest cities in the state. I guess you could say rivals to some degree. But how was it growing up in OKC, man? Tell me about your childhood.
It was great, man. I'm originally from Spencer, Oklahoma. I grew up in Spencer. Was supposed to be a Star Spencer Bobcat, but it's getting in too much trouble out there fighting and acting up. And so mom was just like, hey, we got to go to the city.
Hard head, Mike.
Yeah, so once we did, man, I just got out here, met a lot of good friends, and, it's ups and downs everywhere.
Right.
And ultimately, I think it was a great decision that she made for me. So
was that elementary age whenever y'all made the move?
Yeah, it's like third going into fourth.
And did you resist it at all?
Yeah. Oh, I was hot. I couldn't resist it because
sure, yeah, it's gonna happen.
But I was mad because that's where most of my family was in Spencer. That's where all my friends was, and But when I look back, even when I was in high school, by the time I seen you, I look back and see the direction that Spencer went in and how things were different in the city. I was like, yeah, she made the right decision.
Yeah. And you know what's really wild is like I've known you for about a decade now, and you always. Granted, I've only known adult Mike. I didn't know the kid Mike. Were you always somebody who had his own mind?
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Oh yeah.
So what was the influence then in Spencer? Was it just you?
It was really just taking up for myself. And when you got a lot of males around each other trying to, see who's the toughest on the block.
Yeah.
You got to stay ready. I didn't have older brothers and cousins and uncles and stuff to protect me. So I had two an older sister and a younger sister, so I had to fend for them also in my mind.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, man, I just, I've never been a follower for some reason. I think it would come from my pops and my mom always being so headstrong and then do what you're supposed to do. Don't worry about that kid, which is what I always tell to my daughter now, because my son's pretty laid back. My daughter, she's
you see a lot of yourself
always,
in her?
Yeah. Oh man, it's all me. It's all me. But the reverse to her, she tries to be people's boss, and I have to tell her, hey, you ain't running nothing. You know what I'm saying? You worry about you. But yeah, I never was a follower though.
And that's good.
I never was a follower, and a couple of times I can think back when I did follow some people, I got in trouble every time. And I remember those moments and kept saying, never again. And then it happened again, never again. And then after that, it was like
all you needed was 2 strikes.
It was just me. Yeah,
I'm on my own way.
It was me.
Now, and once you got into Oklahoma City, you seem like the type that can get along with anybody, but. You necessarily don't. You don't seem like you're necessarily the warmest person first. Like, did it take a minute for you to get your feet on the ground and run?
Very much so. Yeah. Because I wasn't an approachable person. I was very shy. When I tell people that, they're like, "No way." I'm like, I was very chronically shy. So I didn't try to talk to the ladies, and I wasn't, had a whole bunch of homies. It was just. I don't know, man. My mind was all about survival growing up in the gang neighborhoods. You see what I'm saying? So It was just all about survival. Like, if I mind my business, I mind my business. You don't bother me, I don't bother you. If you want to be my friend, I'll be your friend.
Right.
You want to fight? Let's get down.
We can do that too.
Yeah, So that's just kind of how it was, man. I don't know why I was like that, and I'm still like that in some ways now. Right. I'm just more sociable, more accepting.
Sure.
I was very untrusting as a kid, and I don't know. It's probably just getting burnt a couple of times as far as getting in trouble. So you remember that stuff. Like, all right.
I always tell people, man, if I had to pick one, I'd rather take that approach. You know what I mean? I'd rather not ignore my instincts. Like, if something tells me, this
I'm a big
foul.
Instinct follower.
Yeah. I'd much rather come back around and be like, Mike, in the beginning, I thought you were terrible, But you surprised me, man. I'm glad I gave you a second chance.
And I have done that. I have done that with some guys, and some guys turned out to be exactly who I thought they were. Like, see, that's why I knew something wasn't right about him.
Right.
Because let me say this, my cousin Randy is my best friend. We like brothers, and he was opposite of me. Like, he wanted to be friends with everybody.
Right.
He let people just walk in his house. If we go places, he stopped to talk to everybody. And me, I was like, I keep walking.
I see it, the car.
Hey man, this one. I don't want to meet him.
Straight up. And it wasn't nothing personal against them.
Wasn't nothing personal against them. It was just me. And so now, granted, some of his friends, 6-7 years down the line, when I matured a little bit, got out of college, and I met them again as men, right. I was like, oh, you pretty cool, man.
Yeah.
You know?
I had the wrong idea.
It's like, you know, I wish we'd been friends long ago, but maybe it wasn't meant for us to be cool, you know. Yeah. And so I'm like that now. I am. I'm a lot like that now, and some people like me, some don't.
Hey, but it looks like you're all right with those who don't, right?
Oh, man. Totally fine.
More than I'll ever know.
It don't even faze me at all. Yeah. I could just walk right. We could be talking for 10 years, and if you decide you don't like me one day because of a person or a sport or just something, and you quit talking to me, okay.
Yeah.
Just walk by you like I don't know you.
All of that you broke down can be, you know, it can be looked at as judgmental. And I'll own that because I'm that way too. A lot of times I think the safest way to go is like, hey, if I look at something and it doesn't look good, the safest assumption for me to make is that it probably ain't good. You know what I mean?
Right. It could be judgmental, and but which it is. I mean, it ain't no can be. It is judgmental in some sort of way, but me was more of like, well, I don't know this person. I don't trust them yet. Let me get to know them.
Sure.
You see what I'm saying? That's how I was.
Gotcha. So you
just
weren't unwilling to get
right,
to know
right.
them.
I wasn't unwilling unless you just, you know, hands hanging off your ass, smoking weed every day,
bad first impression,
gang bang. Cool. I know we're never gonna be friends.
Yo, man, we ain't gonna see eye to eye. I feel. Now check it out. Your demographic, right? Where you grew up in a lot of places where you spent a lot of time around and among as a kid, it was a lot of people that looked just like you and me. But can you remember a point in your life where you were in a different setting with a bunch of people who didn't look like us? And if so, whenever you got to that point, was there a big time adjustment you had to make in terms of communication and, you know, fitting in to some degree?
Yeah, my first year at USAO was the first time I experienced that in college. Because like I said, I was a loner. You know, I wasn't very trusting. I didn't know. So, and I was just chronically shy. So once I stepped on the campus, you go from being in the predominantly black schools to basically an all-white campus almost, and it was some adjustment, you know. Yeah, like so, and yeah, man, I just that was a shock. But in hindsight now, I'm glad I went there instead of, you know, maybe an all-black school or not, because I needed that other dynamic in my life. You see what I'm saying? To be more trusting and to be more friendly and to open up to people, and, you know, and only, you know, not only be cool with people who help me, but want to help others and stuff. And being around all those people that were just like, hey man, we good. It changes you.
Yeah. And I think
it changes you just, it changes you for the better. And I feel like if somebody you know, from Chickasha was to get thrown into, you know, Langston or something, you know what I'm saying, and they do things different there, that it would also change that kid a little bit too. Right. Because you have to adapt. Now I can say that's probably one of my best attributes is I adapt to situations. You know, I mean, I can be this type of way with these type of people. Right. Be this type of way with these type of people.
Yeah. And I like where you're going with it, because see, an immature mind would say that oh man, you being fake.
Yeah, no, you're selling out. No, you're being fake.
And you understand this, but I'm gonna say it anyway. It's like you can't do the exact same things, exact same ways, anywhere, anytime, any place, no matter the circumstances. Like me and you, whenever we talk with the cameras off, it's a lot different than whenever I'm talking to my mom. Right. You see what I'm saying? Now, is that fake?
Yes.
No, bro. That's a respect.
It's a respect level, and like you said, but you know those people right away. Those people who you know, okay, they're never gonna change because we're at this certain crowd and they're acting like, you know, like you said, you in the back room with your homies, you know, cutting up. And it's just like, man, you gotta, as you mature, you have to be able to switch it. It's not being fake. It's just adapting to me. Adapting to your environment, you know. And a lot of those people in those environments that you're adapting to, they're not the way they are in that environment that they are somewhere else. Yeah. You know, so
we all got layers to us, man.
Yeah. You know, I just think it's very important. You know, it's part of growth. Yeah. You know, to know that, you know, I'm okay. I can mingle with any crowd because, you know, we have that that with us being black men and we have that stigma of naturally being aggressive, when you get around certain crews, you have to try to, tame that, take that little aggressiveness. That's my mindset is when I get, I'm like, okay, I'm tall, I'm 6'2", I work out, I got a beard,
you're imposing.
So yeah, so most people be like, and then once you get that, that tightness out of them, then they're like, oh, okay,
I ain't gonna hurt you.
You just, there you go. Like, hey, calm down. I'm not the guy. I may look like the guy that you met that put some fear in you, but I'm not him. So,
That's real, man. That's so real. But let me ask you this. Have you ever run across somebody who was like you? You know what I mean? Who was sort of, when I say built like you, I'm not talking about physically, but in terms of their approach to people, being reserved, being to themselves, and not really being trusting, and maybe even sizing you up a little bit. You ever run across somebody who was similar to you in that regard?
Yeah, I think I have, and that's why I figured out, I know the feeling that other people feel probably sometimes when they first met me when I was younger. I'm more approachable now.
Right.
And I'll give you the benefit of the doubt now, but back then you had to prove to me that you were A, B, and C.
Right.
Now you didn't have to be someone for me. It's just that I had to see, were you the type of person that I was going to be able to deal with?
Right.
With your good and your bad. Because nobody's perfect.
Sure.
So, but I have met people like that, and I know the feeling that like, what's wrong with him? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And so you take it, and people can take it as a negative and as a, I think I'm this or I think I'm that. And it's like, it's not that, man. Just baby step your way into my life.
Yeah. Peel it back one layer at a time like an onion, man.
Yeah, but then there's some guys I met the first time. I'm like, man, I like this dude. Like, we gonna be able to click.
We're gonna be all right.
Actually, you were one of those guys, even though we were in two different positions. I was lobbying in a position to be a coach, and you were coming in to be a player. Mm-hmm. But the first time I met, I was like, I like that kid. It had nothing to do with what you was doing on the floor. Right. Even though I was like, okay, yeah, he's definitely serviceable,
That's good word, man.
But when I talked to you, that's what I took back to Briscoe. I was like, man, that kid's before his time. I was like, you need somebody like that on your team, instead of just all these guys is here to, oh man, I got to do this and I got to get these. You know what I'm saying? So and I think he listened to me.
I didn't know that, man. To be, I never knew that that you had that particular conversation. I could tell by how we ended up bonding the next year once you came on as a coach, and we were just clicking all of it. There was never, you didn't show me any partiality, but we vibed on a different level.
We did.
You know what I mean?
But I'm gonna tell you how you got me, because I forgot where we were going. I know it was a long trip. It might have been to Northwestern.
I think we were going to Alva.
And you had me laughing from the time we pulled out that parking lot 4 hours later till we got there.
It was classic.
And even though I liked you then, like when I first met you in the tryout, but I did not know you were that funny. And seeing laughter is everything to me. I love laughing. So guys who I can click with and laugh with and share stories with, it was crazy. So even then, it didn't feel like I was your coach, you were a player. Like that whole ride felt like we was just boys. Yeah. And I enjoyed this, and you had me after that. I was done. I was like, you was my guy.
I'm gonna tell you what I respected though, because one of the biggest differences, in my opinion, from going to high school to college was the sentimental value that my high school had and has to me still. Okay. I didn't necessarily see that from players after they left wherever they played college ball at, but you still had love for the institution, had love for the coaching staff, love for the program. And a lot of that is because, you had a lot of success while you were there. Right. So you would come back sort of in the role of an ambassador, officially, unofficially, however you want to say it. Yeah. And so I'm like, man, this is cool right here, man. We got somebody who actually gives a damn about us and what we're doing. And you can tell whenever folks are coming in just to put on the dog and pony show, and when folks really care about the program. And so I got that from you early on. And then some of my teammates, a lot of them either couldn't stand you. You know what I mean? And even couldn't stand some of the other guys from the year before. But in my opinion, I'm like, man, these guys ain't all that bad. First of all, what they're saying to you makes sense, dude.
Yeah. I think it was because we were close, and how old are you now?
I'm 30.
See, well, we wasn't that close, but we still were close enough to where I could still get out there and play with y'all, you know, and things of that nature. And so some kids, when you have a guy like that around who may have been, because I'm sure it's like that in the pros, who may have been like a legend or a high-profile player, it intimidates a lot of kids because
we all got that
because they don't want to. I mean, this is my opinion. They don't want to have to live up to what you did.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? And so, and now with you being there and telling them, hey man, this is, you know, how you do this is how you do that, instead of them, you know, some kids just taking that in and saying, well, okay, I'm not gonna be just like you, but I can take some pointers from you. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? But some kids taking this, you know, I ain't you. Don't talk to me.
Yeah.
You know,
One of them.
Well, I'm gonna be better than you. I'm gonna do, and you know, in my mind, I was still like, you're not even gonna come close.
Because I mean, I'm better than all y'all in this gym right now.
Yeah, exactly. I'm about 10 years older than y'all, and I can still get y'all buckets. But I think I feel like that's what it is. The kids who didn't really want to click, and then also I was 10 years younger then, so it's been 10 years, right?
That's right. I was there for 2010, 11. That's when I graduated. And you were on the staff that last season.
So it's been almost 10 years.
We hovering.
So I was still a little less immature when it came to coaching as I am now. You see, as far as interacting with kids, you know, with younger guys, and because I could still play and because I was still in shape, and you know, I was probably only, you know, 4 or 5 years removed from, you know, playing pro ball. So I didn't, because I think about it now, and some of the relationships that I didn't get, I would have done things different. Right. You know what I'm saying? I would have done some things different and approached kids different ways and talked to guys a certain way and realized that you can't be, you know, friends with the players and this and that and the other. So it was
we definitely was on that line.
Yeah, right. But we were intellectual friends. Like I feel like we were just like stimulating each other with conversation and laughter and humor. And then I tried to find ways to get you on the court and, you know what I'm saying, and tell you kind of what Briscoe is thinking. And, you know, so I was lobbying for you to just get more minutes. Yeah. Whether we, you know, but we would never in the room like, hey, crack that bottle open, man. Let's get a drink.
That one to the
hey, you want, there you go. You know, want to go get something to eat? We didn't do that. Just when we crossed paths on campus, we just showed love. And so there was a lot of things that I see now that I didn't see then. Right. You know? And because I bumped heads with a couple of players when I was there.
A couple of my teammates.
Yeah, and when I think back,
one of them is from where you from.
Right, exactly. And me and him is like this now. Man. Yeah. Because I manned up and said, you know what? Let me fix this. Yeah. Let me fix this. And I
did it take a lot for you to do that? 'Cause I know you're a proud dude, man.
I was then, but I don't know. It just kind of hit me one day. I don't know if I was it just hit me one day because I really liked. You know, we're talking about Phil, right? Phil Harris. So I like Phil because I lobbied for him to come to USAO too. Because he had tried out, I think, the year before you or the year after you. And I was like, man, you got to get that kid for starts. Because every year coach would call me, hey, man, come down here. I got a crop of kids, you know, tell me what you think.
Are you talking about Coach O would call you?
No, Briscoe.
Briscoe, yeah, okay.
Briscoe would call me and I'd go down there. And so, it was actually a couple of kids where he was like, hey, man, this kid. And I was like, nah, you don't know. I got that. Yeah. 10 games into Mike, he was right, man. Right. So when that happened, a lot of times he respected my opinion after that. So, but no, I just woke up one day, man, just for as far as I can remember, and I don't know if I was just watching him or if I just thought about, you know, because we're from the same neighborhood, you know, with the family dynamic, the parent dynamic, just our whole background. And I said, let me fix this if I can. Now, if he didn't allow me to fix it, it never would have been fixed. Right. So for the first time, I was like, I gotta put my arrogance and my ego to the side and reach out to this kid. So
I'm guessing enough time had passed then too. You know, fellas,
and just the tension between was unnecessary. I felt I was like, this is so unnecessary, and I think it really was. I think it just hit me now. I knew I wanted to come back another year. I knew Phillip would be one of the main guys. I was like, man, I can't coach another
2 more
year
years.
and and be bumping heads with that kid over nothing. You see what I'm saying? It was really over nothing. It was just
on the court type joint.
He didn't want to listen. I didn't want to. Yeah, he felt I shouldn't have did this. I feel he need to keep his mouth shut.
Right.
And it was just so I pulled it. I remember it was during Drover Madness. No, not Drover Madness. Drover Stock.
Okay. Drover Stock was in the beginning, correct?
No, Drover Stock is at the end.
That's the
when
end?
all the recruits come in.
Okay. So
Right,
Madness is in the fall, like
Madness
part of the
is
year.
right. It's like
Right,
Midnight Madness when y'all get out in front of the town and in the gym and show them what y'all got. So the recruits were coming in and the energy is high and this and that, and I was just like, Phil, let me talk to you. Took him in. Coach Metcalf was there at the time. Took him in Coach Metcalf's office, and and I basically just apologized to her. I was like, man, whatever I did, whatever I said, I apologize. I was like, and it just kind of went back and forth like that. And and Phil's he's a powerful guy.
Oh yeah.
And then also
he didn't take a lot seriously during
there
that time.
you go. And he also wasn't used to. I could tell he was so uncomfortable.
Yeah.
While we were talking, like students apologize to me.
Well,
I'm used to. Yeah, I'm used to just being mad forever, or just eventually we start talking again. So.
Right.
And because there was a couple instances where, because I was the student assistant, so I had to kind of watch and monitor you guys and this and that. I wasn't like running back snitching, but it was like something, okay, if I feel like this is important, that this is going to lead the wrong way, I need to report, to a coach. Mm-hmm. And there was a couple times where, he was asleep in class or something, and, and I got the teachers, in my ear, so I was like, all right, coach, well, we gotta get on. We gotta talk to Phil a little bit about falling asleep in class, and a couple guys leaving class early, and I'm in the class with them, trying to finish my degree. And I can see the teachers watch them leave, and like, okay, and I'm just like, oh man, come on, so and I knew we was gonna need Phillip.
Yeah.
And so I had to report, and then of course Coach had to say something, and then he know where it came from, and so he felt some type of way about that. And I think that's where the incident with the pickup happened. He had some,
he had
some
energy
animosity on his chest, instead of talking to me, and he thought that, I'm just, can't do that.
Yeah.
He's still a little guy,
I remember that particular game on that day because it was getting heated, but like I never with the fellas because we handle. I apologize to the ladies in advance. I feel like the ladies are super petty. What I mean? They'll get into it on the court or something like that. Something that should stay right there. They might not ever talk. Fellas, man, we'll talk that noise. We'll battle. It may look like it's about to be on the edge of throwing blows, but people who've been in that domain before, we know, it ain't gonna escalate.
And then right after that, we could be in the room playing PlayStation.
Right. But what's so funny is I remember he came and set a ball screen on you. And you gave him one of the forearms, and it like lifted him up off the ground. And he was hot too, boy. He says he had some choice, colorful words after that. But what pissed you off was they won. They ended up beating us.
But it wasn't only that, but it was the words. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because it was like, you could say certain basketball terms and insult me in basketball ways, but when you know when it turns personal though. You see what I'm saying? And when I think it was like a half threat that came in, I'm like, are you serious?
Yeah, that's all you needed was
like,
a half threat.
Boy, you're a half my side, I'll kill you. know? So my manhood kicked in, and then that's when I went off and challenged him. And of course he was, he didn't want to go that far. And I shouldn't have took it that far.
For sure.
So anyway, fast forward, I talked to him in the office. I was like, man, everything that I did, I'm trying to help you. Phil, I know you struggle with your class. I know you struggle with this shit. I'm here and I'm struggling. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? I ain't been in school 8 years.
Right.
So I'm trying to make sure that you don't, fall down that path. You got 2 years left, man. We need you. I don't want you flunking out this and that and the other. So what I had to explain to him is that what I was doing to him, when the couple of things, it wasn't like, Phil doing it again. It wasn't that. It was just like, okay, this got to be addressed. Okay, that can be ignored.
Right. Picking your poison.
And I just felt like it needed to be done. And I was like, man, I apologize. I do care about you. This and that and the other. can we leave this here? You know, can we, you know, be cool again because I'm gonna be back here next year.
We got to deal with each other.
And yeah, and I want you to be. I told I've had my career. Mm-hmm. You said you still got yours to finish. So
right.
You know, and man, we've been tight ever since. Like just even that day, like I was like having him help me. I was like, man, help me with these players and do that. And he was so. Like, he was so respectful after that, even to this day, it shocked me.
That's cool, man.
So it was a learning lesson for me. Like, damn, you should have did that a couple months ago. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying?
But you had to be in a place to do it, though. You see what I'm saying?
There you go. And that, just that type of response that he never, ever, from that day forward, gave me any negative energy. Right. Never talked back. Never smacked his lip at me. Never called me the N-word. Never like I'm his homeboy. Yeah, you know, just it was complete respect after that. And I was like, wow, just me dropping my ego went so far. And I just seen him, you know, a month ago, anyways, at a funeral. But every time you see me, it's just, hey, what's up? You know,
that's what it's all about.
And it makes you feel bad. Like, I can't believe we even got it. But
y'all him
being young, me being young, you know, so.
That's big.
So it's a learning experience for me.
And I always knew, well, obviously you were a coach then, but I knew at some point, officially, in some capacity, you know, you were definitely going to be coaching because you had the temperament for it. You definitely had the experience to make you credible, somebody worth listening to. And you had the mind for it. But what I didn't know, since we're already in the college realm, we'll stay there for a minute. I didn't realize until maybe halfway through that semester, I think it may have been the first semester, that you were in school again too. I didn't realize what all you were juggling at that time. I just figured, oh, here this cat coming back, you know, trying to get his feet wet so he can figure out a way to get into coaching. But I didn't realize you came back and finished your degree because you didn't finish before you went overseas and played ball. Right. You were a husband at the time already and a
just
parent.
Had a new baby. I already had a son. Just had a daughter.
Yo, how did all that come about? And how did you balance?
I'm gonna tell you, man, I was working at Hobby Lobby in the factory.
I remember that.
And
I was in that truck, huh?
It was just, and it wasn't even that was UPS job years before that. But Hobby Lobby was you fill up the boxes, put the boxes on the thing, boxes go, and they put them on the truck. But it was labor, man. You know, on your feet, on concrete, 10 hours a day. You know, opening, cutting boxes, lifting, this and that. And I said, man, I don't want to do this forever. Like, this is horrible. It was tearing my hands up. Back was getting sore. I'm looking at people who've been there 10, 15 years, and they look 15 years older than they really are. And I was just like, is this what you know? It's like, man, I didn't travel the world. I graduated high school. I'm almost done with college. I ain't trying to be in this factory the rest of my life.
Nah, this ain't me.
You know, yeah. And it was just crazy, man. So just one day, it just hit me, you know, and I said, I got to do something different. Man, so I reached out to Briscoe, we had became really good friends after I played for him.
And for those who don't know what he's talking about, Briscoe McPherson, right? Long-time head coach at USAO, men's basketball. Not no more though. He hung
he's
through
he's
the
athletic director now. And
he's still
AD. And next year is his last year. He's put in 40 years at USAO. 40 years.
And he really gonna throw the sneakers on the foul line. I'm out.
Yeah, and so. And I just made a call to him, man, and just told him what I wanted. I was like, man, I got to finish. I always promised my mom and myself that I would get my degree. And, you know, and I think I want to do coaching now because I, you know, go back to the being chronically shy. I couldn't talk in front of people and this and that. But I think I started working the Oklahoma Christian Cage Camp. Yeah.
So many people came through there.
And I met, you know, Coach Hayes met me one summer and he just took a liking to me. He's like, man, you should come work my camp, man. And so I came, worked this camp, but that was my first experience just being in front of kids that just, everywhere, they just, man, and you like, and it's all white kids, one week, couple of black kids, and you know, and it just, it helped me a lot with speaking in front of people, being in front of kids, being a mentor, realizing that just that week with you with that kid is a lasting, a lifetime effect. You know, I still talk to some of those kids. Like I said, Craig.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you talking about Craig Murray?
Yeah. Kendra Talley.
Straight up.
He's a head coach at Oklahoma Christian now. Mm-hmm. You know, so all those kids I was coaching at the time, And I think I really I figured out what my calling was, and I felt like it was coaching, with whatever capacity. I wanted to go to college. I didn't want to do high school because I didn't want to teach classes and be a full-time teacher.
For sure.
And so once I talked to Briscoe about it, he's like, man, 3 years time I may step down, Metcalf step up, maybe you slide in, come in, and so he found me some scholarship money and that was it,
Man.
And I just did it, and it was tough because it put a strain on my first marriage because I was gone, 5-6 days a week, and
you were living in Oklahoma City at the time.
I was in
right?
Oklahoma City,
and then making that 40-minute trip to Chicken Shake pretty much every day, right?
It wasn't. Actually, I got to the point where I just stayed.
Stayed on campus, right?
I just stayed.
They set you up.
I just stayed. I was just like, I'm stay. I'll be back home in a couple of days, And I know that made things hard with having a newborn and stuff like that. But that was my turning point. But I realized I still had a lot to learn though. I still had a lot to learn because I did a stint with Robert Foreman. He's the athletic director of Mustang Schools now. Now before that he was a principal, and before that he was a boys coach at Westmore. Okay. And I met him at the Cage Camp. And so when I had my first knee surgery, thinking I was going to come back and go back overseas, he's like, man, you staying here this year? I said, yeah. He said, well, you should come and be a lay coach at Westmore with me. I was like, okay, cool. Put some money in your pocket, get you some coaching experience. And that guy, his cerebral was different from what I was used to, you see. And so he actually broke things down and taught, and I was like, man, I have a lot to learn about coaching. Right. Because as a player, we all think that because we know the game internally that we can teach it in. It's different. It is. It's a lot different. I be telling these guys out here now, like, man, just because you played don't mean you can teach.
I'm glad you went there, man. I'm glad you went there.
There's a lot of guys out here, to me, in my opinion, not doing things the right way. Their vision is distorted because they're getting caught up in wins and losses. And they're either not developing the kids or they're getting kids that already are developed and,
Yeah. Now, you said a lot. I got to stop you right there, though. Because I'm going to tell you, when you first started coaching, right, when you first had, better yet, more specifically, when you first had your own team, was it difficult for you to look at a player, right, from, let's say, a neutral lens? And what I mean is, when I first got started, I was 22 years old, right, fresh off of a college career. And I would see a kid struggling with something that came so naturally to me. And they just, for whatever reason, couldn't do it yet. All right? And I'm struggling, and they would feel some of my frustration because I would be thinking, this is so easy for me.
Hard.
Why can't you do this?
Right.
Did you run into that at all when you first started
because my first experience I ever had of having my own team was in London, England, where I played ball.
Did I know that?
Yeah. So my first year, when you go out there, you get a stipend for playing, but then if you want to make extra money, they wanted to put you in the schools because you're an American, you're automatically role model to those kids and stuff because this is our sport. We dominate the sport, so Americans are like celebrities over there to a certain extent. So they put me into this high school. Kids were 14, 15 years old. Like, here you go, they're yours. And I got a picture of that, and I look so young of these guys, and it's probably 15 kids, and only 3 of them could really play.
Only 3 of them could play.
It was hard, man.
Did you ever figure out a way to meet them where they were though?
Yes, that's what I'm saying. So I took my time with them, tried to implement some of the stuff from Cage Camp into them, some of the stuff from high school, some of the stuff from college from both coaches,
right?
And just eventually, gain their confidence, gain their, and then they would come to my games, watch me play, see some of the things that I could do.
Oh, nice.
And it helped, it helped. And we actually ended up winning that league that year, and they had never won it before. The year before, they lost every game.
I know that had to be gratifying for you.
It was great,
you know what I mean?
And then right after that, they put me into college with women who are the same age as me. And I have to coach these grown women.
I didn't know that either, man. You've been sitting on some info.
Dude, it was such a shell shock because now I'm 23 years old and I'm in here looking at 23-year-old women like, okay, what you gonna teach us?
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh man. And it was the same message. Like the first time he stayed with me, ran them through some stuff, and then the next time he's like, "They're yours."
You're yours, dog. Was there a language barrier?
No, not English. They speak English.
Okay, good deal. Well, I probably should know the answer to that.
Yeah.
Well, here's a better question. Another thing I ran into when I first started my career, around the same age you just said you were at that time, was I knew that I couldn't communicate with them as if I was 20 years older than them. So coming in, ruling by the iron fist, screaming and hollering, that wasn't going to be respected because there was no relationship established, number one. Number two, I was too close in age to them. They go like, man, listen, come on, man. You're in the same generation as me. How were you able to communicate with the grown women? In other words, how were you able to hold them accountable, to be specific?
Well, man, I think the approach I took, I was like, well, let me try to be their friend first, which is not
that's backwards.
There you go. But at that time, I was like, well, like you said, I'm the same age as them, so I can't just. I felt like I couldn't just come in and say, hey, do this, do that, but I probably could have because. I was labeled the coach. I was an American that played ball and this and that and the other. So they were trying to, learn some pointers and get better because some of them women was the first time they was picking up a ball.
Really?
It was crazy. Yeah.
At 23,
in college, because a couple of them was
right
19, 20, 21. But, there were some older girls on the team and it was hard at first, but I think I gained their trust by being cool with them, being, not laughing at them when they make mistakes and when they fall over the ball and can't do this, and it just worked. It just worked, man. They accepted me. They might have thought I was cute or something.
Hey, you know what I mean? No, it always helps. If you're worth looking at,
you're a little attractive. Okay, I'll listen to you right now.
Yo, how much of an ordeal was it to get overseas? Because I still am not privy to that process. Because a lot of people will talk whenever I was a senior in college, talking about their plans and aspirations to continue their career post college. I always was like, yo, what's the first thing somebody would do who's interested in doing that? Like, who do you call? What do you do?
Well, the best thing you want to try to do is see if you can get your agent. You ain't gonna get the agents that got superstars and stuff. You got to try to find you a small time agent, and that person is basically supposed to do the mouthpiece for you. Like, hey, I got this player. What position you looking for? Yada yada yada. So I had that at first, but I just had a bad experience with him. I went out of town to New Jersey for a tryout for overseas / backdoor NBA tryout, and it was a couple of New Jersey Nets out there, working out and things. I was like, oh,
it was
man,
looking pretty promising.
NBA players out here. Okay, cool.
I'm where I need to be.
And the guy who was representing me completely ignored me basically the whole time I was out there because he had so many of his clients coming at once, and a lot of these guys were guys who I played against in college and beat.
Yeah, I know I'm better than this.
Yeah, but the thing about I wasn't
right,
but my team was better than theirs. But some of these guys were 6'7" shooters and could jump out the gym and this and that and the other. I'm like, wow, But I also brought a dynamic I felt too. I was, a lockdown defender, a great outside shooter, this and that and the other. But he completely ignored me the whole time. It was crazy. And then one time he came out, we was all in the break in between games. And we were sitting outside. Yeah, man, I remember you when you played here. And just all talking about each other's resume. Here come the guy. His name was Mike, white guy in New York. Fast talking.
Yeah. Like, then them type of cats is hard to trust, ain't it?
Like you on drugs, man. It's crazy. Right. So he comes out. And he's looking. I'm like, say if we're sitting across that wall, just kind of like you, man, sitting over there, and we're all sitting there talking, shoes off, feet hurt. We've been playing basketball all day.
Yeah, it's time to
decompress. He walks by. He's looking at it. He walks by again. He walks by. Like, hey man, have any of y'all seen that guy, Mike Williamson? I'm sitting right there, bro. You don't even remember what I look like now.
That's disrespectful.
I felt I was so insulted, and then being a 22-year-old kid with an ego,
22-year-old brother from Spencer.
It felt so disrespectful. I said, "What?" I said, "Dude, I'm right here, man." Oh, man. I want you to come and run with this team in here and do this. My spirits was crushed.
Yeah,
my spirits was crushed, and man, I was on the first flight out of there that next morning.
Now, in hindsight,
he was calling.
Was that the right move?
We got Probably not.
Probably not.
He probably could have did some things for me, but I just felt I was.
Yeah, I understand.
Being young, you know, and arrogant and a little bit, but and I was gone. Yeah. Next morning, I said, I guess I'm gonna have to do it on my own. So this is where Cage Camp and making these connections with these kids come into play. Mm-hmm. Well, I was telling you that it's a lifetime, you know, sometimes it's a lifetime friendship. So one of the kids I really connected with, his name was Matt Guidman. And I used to get these kids at the end of the week, we would write their progress reports and I, hey man, here's my email, anytime y'all want to reach out. And those kids during the week, we would have a coaches game. And you know, the coaches, we out there showing out, we flying, dunking, doing this. And they just all, you know, they, man, they was like, man, you should come to England. You would kill in England. And I'm like, oh, really? I'm like, oh, okay. You know, I'm listening to it, but I ain't like.
Yeah, that's a long shot.
Yeah, we'll see. Because at that point, I was still dealing with, oh boy. Mm-hmm. And so when that fell apart with the guy from New York, something just told me to reach out to Matt because Matt was always emailing me.
Oh wow! So he stayed in constant contact.
Yeah, him and his whole crew. I was emailing them all the time.
Man, that's good.
And so I said, man, were you serious about? Because he was like, man, my dad is an American, but he's been in England for the last 20 years. He was a great player out there. You know, he knows some of the teams. I said, okay, well, I just kind of put that in my back pocket, like, okay. And I'm glad I did. There you go. And so I hit him up. He talked to his dad. His dad told me to send him, like, you know, my resume from college because I was fresh out of college. And I sent him all my credentials. He's like, wow, how are you not playing somewhere? Yeah. You know, you talking about all the stuff that I did in college. And just like, man, I had a guy represent me. You know, I didn't really feel him. You know? Right. And so here I am by myself. He reached out to one of the weakest teams in the league, of course. You know,
however you get in.
He said, there you go. You got to get it. He's like, hey man, I got this guy. I sent him my resume. The guy was corresponding with me. Like, are you sure? Like, you kind of. He was trying to tell me, like, man, you probably be overqualified to come play in this league. I'm like, man, I just need to get out there.
Just get me there.
Just get me there. And that's how it happened. So we started making stuff happen. Got a plane ticket, passport, gone. You know, at this point, you know, no kids. Right. No, you know, no, just a part-time job, just hanging out, being a kid, gone. And I went out there and destroyed.
How different was the style of basketball overseas versus what you have become used to over here in the States?
Well, the rules are slightly different, not a whole bunch. The players are very smart, but not as at least in the league that I was in, but not as just gifted, you know, talent-wise. Yeah, just like, you know, and but I think it was a great starter league for me because I was fresh out of college. You know, I hadn't played pro ball. It actually helped. I became a better player. Like when I looked 5 years down, I was like, man, I wish I'd have been, you know, I wish the game was as easy to me in college. Even though in college I thought it was easy as far as who, because I was around a lot of great players. Right. And had a good coach that thought the game. But yeah, man, that's how I got in. And then I just felt so once you get in, you know, you get your stats up, build your resume, and then while you're healthy and while you putting up numbers, you got to try to sell yourself to other people also. Even the people that you play against, you know, because I took some beat downs out there, but if I score 50, you know, and
you dropped 50 pieces out there?
Oh yeah, I dropped 52 the second game of the season.
Might sound like Gilbert.
It was crazy. Yeah, never even scored 40 in college, but I dropped 50 like 5 times out there.
Golly.
Just that one season. Yeah.
Let me ask you this. The grind of you, the way you're breaking it down, you know, to get your stats up, sell yourself, and then maybe bump up, is the approach of, you know, the other guys who weren't Americans the same way? Is everybody trying to do the same thing?
See,
in terms of moving up?
Yeah, it just depends on how serious they are about it because a lot of the elite English players were really younger. You know, if you were in this league, you were kind of like a serviceable player and on the end of your career, you know, in the league that I started in. So, like these guys would, you know, they would go and we'd have a game that night and they at their job 8 o'clock the next morning. Yeah, you see what I'm saying? And they got families and this and that. And then that's what made it hard for our team because a lot of times they couldn't come to practice. And we were only practicing twice a week sometimes, and you know it was just hard. And then most of the time, we got 6 guys in practice. We just in there putting up shots, and running over plays and stuff. And then that's why when the games came, it was harder for us to win as a team. But me just having nothing to do but be in the gym, I just put up numbers just to keep us in the game. For sure, a lot of times, but we ended up making the playoffs that year. We hadn't made the playoffs. They hadn't made the playoffs in like 8 years, so it was a success.
Mike, the missing link.
It was great. It was crazy.
Now, how did you feel your time outside of the gym, other than being in the gym? Because I'm pretty sure there was some cultural differences.
It was a lot. Yeah, it was a lot of just. That's when I really got to know me, because I was by myself. You know. Now, when I first started out, I was with this lovely couple that they put me with. Actually, the guy just passed away a couple of years ago, but the Gardners, it was Paul and Mary Gardner, and I would live with them for about a month. And so things was easy, because she cooked every day. She washed the clothes, and they had cable. I would stay up all them because my
sleep schedule.
It was horrible. Horrible, dude.
What was it? You remember the differences in the hours?
6 hours. They're 6 hours ahead over there.
Okay, so right now it's
like
it's about 9
o'clock, right? And so I would stay up all the way, watching TV all night until the sun came up, and then I would sleep all day.
Wow!
Didn't do it all over again.
Did you ever adjust, or did that was just your
I finally adjusted once the season started kicking in, and I started playing, and practicing. I finally adjusted, but so when I left, so I had access to the internet. This back with Messenger, we still didn't have Facebook, none of that stuff, and so you communicate through email. But I was, I had the internet, cable, own room, food, all that, and then they was like, all right, well, it's time for you to get your own apartment. And I was like,
what they said, they just kind of dropped a bomb on you out of nowhere?
Yeah, because they told me eventually I would move to my own apartment, but I got so adjusted to having everything there. It was lovely, and then you go from that to an empty apartment with just furniture in the bed in your room. You're like, what do I do now? No cable. They'll find you a little cheap TV somewhere with a with a VHS.
Yeah, VHS.
Then finally, one of the teammates loaned me his PlayStation. So, man, I just stayed at home all day long and just was on PlayStation. I was watching Friends.
Yeah.
Over and over. I didn't know how to cook for myself, so I would go to the store and buy a whole bunch of frozen dinners and just eat 3 frozen dinners a day. And
you was making it happen though.
I was making it happen, but man, I had a lot of lonely. Now, I'm talking about no girlfriend.
None.
No, the teammates is like, man, I'm going to bed. I'm like, let's go do something.
Yeah, let's get out here on the town. Something.
It was hard. It was hard for a while. It was a couple times. I was like, maybe I should just go back home. Try to, do something else. But once I really got in tune with my teammates, and once the season got going, I've been successful. Then you meet a friend here, meet a friend there, and I spent a lot of time just walking around. Honestly,
straight up,
I would just get up some days. I had to put my stuff on and just walk the streets.
I feel like that would be me.
And get lost and try to find my way back.
Wow, it was an adventure. Huh?
Yeah,
I'm gonna figure this out.
No, like
I ain't got nothing but time.
But then it was a whole bunch of times where I'd be standing. I'm like, man, I'm walking on the streets of England right now. Like, who else could say that's from my neighborhood? And I'm traveling, and I did that a whole bunch of times in Brazil too, and it was fun, man. It was lonely at times, but I really got to know myself. For real.
Man, by hook or by crook, you're gonna be forced to get it figured out. What all countries have you been able to visit through playing basketball?
I've been to France, England, Brazil. I was on my way to Portugal before I got hurt. I didn't get to make that trip.
Right.
And been to Mexico.
You up to 4? Everywhere though.
Bahamas. Jamaica,
man,
just but that wasn't even close to the places I was trying. Like I wanted to get to Germany and China, Italy and you know, I mean,
you're gonna have that resume packed if you had it your way.
I wanted to do all that stuff because I was watching other guys do it. You know, I would come home for the summer and be playing in men's league at the Lighthouse, and you could tell guys who were, you know, just Oklahoma players, and you could tell guys who had been somewhere playing. Their game was just different, you know. And so I try to cling on to that. Hey, so what do you do? And where do you go? After we battle, and I talk crazy to them.
Yeah.
Tell them, hey, I should have your spot where you at.
Yeah.
Then after the game over, I'd be like, man, you know what, person. I was trying to get
an ego, man.
Yeah, you know, but I mean, that's how it was, you know. And that's
you got to be that way as a competitor.
Yeah, that's what I said. That's why a lot of guys would choose to like me or not like me from how we interacted on the court. And I'm like, man, that's a whole different person.
Totally different dude.
Yeah, on the court, man. So I was always trying to find the edge. And I probably went too far some days. And other days, I just had fun with it. So.
Now, what injury was it, man? When did it happen? And how long did you fight it before you like, you know what? It might be time for me to...
Torn meniscus in my left knee. I had just got back to England from Brazil, and I was actually playing against my old team. I was having a good game. It was still in the first half. No, it was in the second half now. I'd already had 25 points. And I made a move to the baseline. And I got doubled and triple teamed all the time because the amount of points that I would put up, you know, here and there. And the double team came. I planted to retreat back to the 3-point line, and I felt it. I just felt it. Oh. And it just started burning.
Did you come up lame immediately?
No, I mean, I kept playing, and I don't know what I did after there was a stoppage in the game, some free throws or something, and I was wiggling and my knee wouldn't lock. It just kept doing like that, and I was like, oh, man. And it was burning. Yeah. It was just burning right here in this spot right here. And I was like, oh, and I finished the game, though.
Dang.
Yeah, finished the game. And it was sore that night. Next morning, over. And so I talked to the team and went and got it looked at, torn meniscus, rehabbed it didn't even have surgery, just rehabbed it for like 2 months. Got cut from that team, went to another team, and played out the rest of the season. Came home for Christmas. And when I was going to come back, got cut while I was at home for Christmas. From the other team. And I'm like,
Merry Christmas.
How that happened? You know what I'm saying?
Man.
So
you got fired on your day off,
well, what it was is that they had a big guy from Australia and he decided to leave. And so they was like, man, we need some size, man. You know, and the little guy that was there was smaller than me. He's on like 5'8". He's a really good player, but he was young. And, you know, he was grandfathered in. They loved him. And I came in mid-season. And so they had another American that got cut from another team. And he was 6'8". And so they brought him in for a workout. Like, man, we don't really vote. You know, we only got 2 American spots, and we need some size. And, you know, in my head, I'm thinking, like, at the bottom of the league, like, who cares? I ain't going to win nothing. You know, that's what I think. So you might as well keep. At least I'll put up 30 points a game, you know, but. And
was that your last stint?
That was this. Yeah, that was it right there. So I was with a girl while I was out there. Stayed with her for about 5 months. Rehab, you know, try to try to get on another team, and it just didn't happen. I was like, all right, man, I gotta go home. Came home. I played on it for a whole year, torn. I just kept playing.
You just dealt with the pain?
Just kept playing. Yeah, just dealt with the pain. Iced it. You know,
yeah,
just kept playing, and then finally I was like, all right, I got to get some surgery. Had surgery, bounced back in 6 weeks. I was like, oh, I'm ready. You know, all the drills.
See if you still got it.
Was dunking and everything. I was like, all right, I'm back. Tore it again.
Oh.
Same knee.
That's demoralizing, bro.
Because it just started burning all over. I didn't even feel it this time. It just started burning. I was like, why is my knee burning again? So I went back into Michael Johnson, and he was like, yeah, man. He's like, well, come on in. And so this next time when I woke up from surgery, I had a big leg brace on. Like, what's this leg brace? It wasn't here the first time. He's like, man, you had some ACL damage. So I just went ahead and tightened it up while I was in there. 6 months down. 6 months. And I was like, dang. So coming back. Then my son was on his way. that was it.
That was it, huh?
That's it. I was like, I can't leave him.
So at that point, it wasn't. I was gonna ask you next. Was it rough getting to that point of acceptance that, hey man,
it was hard. Yeah, it was hard, but him coming made it easier because I really had a reason to stay. You know, and then I started listening to my body because I couldn't. It got to a point where I couldn't play 2 or 3 days in a row.
Right.
You know, and then it was just too sore because in the time that I was down for 6 months, all the other injuries that I was playing through with like the bone spurs in my knees and the tendonitis in my heels, and I got an MRI when I was in Brazil, and they said arthritis in my feet, like early signs of arthritis, and I was playing through all that. So once you could play through that stuff for years, but once you stop and all that stuff just set in, you're like, oh.
I'm struggling to get on that.
Yeah, and I was like, well,
next chapter.
Guess that's it.
Man.
You know, guess that's it. And I had a good run. I look back nowadays and I'm like, man, I got chopped down to 27. 27 years old.
That's what it was?
It was over.
I just knew you were going to say maybe early 30s.
27. Nah, the years that I played after that was strictly because I just stayed in the gym, got myself back in shape, and I just wanted to play.
Yeah.
And that's what pissed me off because when I got to 30, I was better than I was when I was, you know, I felt like I was in my prime. You know, at 26, 27, at 30, I was even better.
I bet you was even sharper up top,
my
too.
cerebral was crazy.
Yeah.
It was just like, oh, this is so...
This game is easy,
I was like,
slow.
I gotta get back overseas, man. I used to talk, because I talk to those guys all the time, like, hey, man, just bring me in. You know, the day after a game, I probably can't practice, you know, but I could practice the...
Need that load management.
And I had a guy, because the guy who I played for my second year for the Kingston Wildcats, we actually became really good friends. And so he owned the team. And so he even said, he was like, well, should I just bring you back and, you know, just make sure you're ready for the games? I was like, perfect. But I was still like, my son is here. You know, I was like, should I be selfish for a year and go, you know what I'm saying?
Now, would it have just been a year, though, if you went over there and had a good experience?
There you go. Probably wouldn't have.
Right.
But what ended up helping is because he finally decided, he's like, man, this team's costing me more money than I'm making. I'm just going to fold it. And I'll probably start back again in a couple of years. And then that was it, right? That was it.
That was more than a hand.
Because he was the only guy that was going to let me come over there and adjust to the way my body was acting. You know, just like, man, just be ready for the games. And a lot of teams not going to let you do that.
True that.
At 30 years old. You know, because at 30 years old, you're old in basketball.
Yeah. Especially if you played a long time. Yeah. You've been playing for a long time.
Exactly. And then now you talking about coming over here, and I'm like, oh, I got restrictions from day one. Get out of here.
Yeah, stop.
Let's go get a young 21-year-old that can jump out the gym. So.
A young Thundercat.
Yeah.
And so now I'm looking at Coach Mike Williamson, all right? You're head coach of Burner U, all right?
Right.
And how did that organization come about? Because I still remember Mike from the Switch.
Right,
you know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, I started Switch, which was Robert Foreman, the guy that I coached at Westmore with.
Right.
And when his girls were in third grade, I used to ref. That's when I first started reffing. Mm-hmm. Now that she's a freshman in college now. And yeah, it's crazy, man, just looking at them grow. And he always said, man, you know, because he had a good little team, he said, man, at some point I want to branch out and have an organization. He said, when I do, I'll bring you in. So, okay, so we talked about it, you know, off and on for years, and they finally, him and his partner, finally found a way to do it and brought me in, and that was it. And so I loved it. I enjoyed the experience. It was another chance to have my own team. I'm the head coach, you know, develop kids from the bottom, because a lot of these kids, some of these kids are really naturally talented, and a lot of them wasn't. So it was that, again, to where, like, how can you miss 6 layups in a row and nobody's on you with your strong hand? Like, it was crazy, man. So, but it actually made me how it changed my mind, because I used to think I didn't start playing basketball until I was in 6th grade.
I was 4th, and I still consider that to be pretty late.
It's 6th grade is really late, though, and then not even being a serviceable player really until you know, almost in high school, you know, and so I started thinking back, well, how was I when I was their age? You know, and that helped me with my patience a little bit because I can't remember how I was. In my mind, I was pretty good, but I probably was trash.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Like, yeah, man.
Yeah. So the thing with Switch, they were based out of Mustang.
Okay.
So I'm driving out to Mustang 3 or 4 days a week.
Right.
You know, I'm not, at the house with the kids, not with the wife. I got a new wife and this and
it's 3 little ones now.
It's a strain, yeah.
Oh,
it was a strain, So, and then I kind of once I started learning some things through Robert and how things were working, I kind of wanted to do my own thing. I didn't want to always, because there was a lot of times where I wanted to do some stuff and I would have to, hey man, can I do this and that?
And run it through it.
Yeah, and sometimes he was like, nope. Other times he's like, do what you want. So I was just like, I need to probably do my own thing.
Yeah. Give it a go.
Yeah, and I wanted to get to a point to be more competitive. Like I'm not trying to be the best team in Oklahoma or the number 2 team in the nation and AAU. If it happens, it happens, but that's not my goal. I just wanted to be more competitive, be able to, bring some kids in that, you can really do some things with. And so I felt like the only way I was going to be able to do that is if I broke away from Swish because he had his funnel of kids coming in.
He had his machine already.
Yeah, he already had that. And like I said, out of 20, 30 kids, you might have 4 that can play. And this is every season, you see what I'm saying? And it's like, I mean, you really can't win like that when you're forced to pick up players, in order to keep the roster full, keep the organization, because it's a business, keep the money coming in.
Sure.
And I was like,
So competitively, y'all kind of circling the drain. So
yeah, we were getting better, but I still was, it still was not where I wanted it to be, and I couldn't. And then even when I went out and tried to get better players, they didn't want to drive to Mustang.
Gotcha.
Couldn't come out there.
Logistically, it was an issue.
Yeah, for my vision, it was like, okay, this ain't working, so I need to do something more central. Plus it helped me spend more time with the family, with the kids. And so me and Jimmy Lawson, which is we played high school ball together. He was a great player, one of the best shooters I've ever met in my life. And we just became good friends over time, just crossing each other in the gyms and stuff like that. And he was with Dream Elite at the time, and he wasn't really feeling the direction they were going in. I was kind of going, not feeling, just being stuck in one position at Swish. If I felt like I was like moving up or maybe move up in the chain, or Rob was like, let me bring you up and teach you this and maybe make you a partner, so I probably would stay. But it wasn't like that. It was like, if I would have stayed there, I was going to always be an employee.
Right.
So I was like, So me and him used to talk, and then we just said, man, in a couple of years' time, let's get our own team, because we played together. We played against each other. He played OCU when I was at USAO.
There you go. Conference foes.
Yeah, and like I said, I looked up to him because he was an upperclassman. The way he shot, his shooting ability is what made me want to be a great shooter, And I had to work. Like his was a gift. Like he was just gifted. He would say, he's like, man, I just pick the ball. I can shoot it.
Yeah.
I was like,
okay. Yeah, twice as much.
Yeah, you could tell though. Like the way he shoot the ball, even now with him being older and not in shape like he used to be, man, his strap is on fire,
Muscle memory, maybe don't go nowhere.
Yeah, so and I feel like I had to develop mine more and put that time, in the gym. So, and we were clowning one day over drinks and hanging out and having a good time, probably celebrating his birthday of mine, and we decided, hey, man, we're gonna do it. And then so we used to how we came up with the name Bernie, because everybody like, what's the Bernie you? I'm like, yeah, but what's any of these names out here?
For real?
Like, why does my name need to I need to be called the Cowboys or the Trotters or the something lame. So I'm like, we were talking one day, and he was a great shooter out of John Marshall. I became a great shooter out of John Marshall, mostly out of USAO, because that's where I was able to develop under Briscoe McPherson. And so we was like, man, we in a class of our own when it comes to shooting, And then, you know, he's like, nah, we in the university of our own. He's like, we got burners, you know what I'm saying? And none of that. And, you know, we just talking. Yeah. And then one day we just started saying, hey, what's up, man? You know, what's up? You know, Burner University, baby. Just clowning. Wow. Some clowning stuff. So, right. And then when we finally made the decision to leave our programs and get together, we tried for about 2 weeks to come up with a different name. Right. We just kept coming back to what we made up in hindsight, and he was like, man, just keep it. Yeah. You know, it's different. It is. It's our own, you know. We have a story behind it. I mean, it's goofy, but
and even if you didn't, it's pretty catchy though. You know what I mean? You got your logo popping off and everything.
Yeah, man. This is like the 20th draft.
You know, so all the draft.
Yeah,
but you found something.
Yeah, and we found something. And like I said, we're not big. We haven't expanded out yet. He got 2 girls teams. I got 2 boys teams.
Okay. Does he have daughters?
He's coaching his daughter. I'm coaching my son.
Fair enough.
And then my boys, some of my original boys from Swish came with me, and then I added some pieces along the way. And we actually pretty good now, man. My older boys in the 5th graders, they getting better. You know, we're not with the elite teams, quote unquote elite teams and stuff now, but I don't really care.
I know it. You know, you're doing it the right way because I actually know your mind and I know how you work. Eventually, you'll be there. Mm-hmm. But now here,
I can do what everybody else do. You can go try to pick players off everybody else's team. But I'm like, I'm cool. I want the kids who want to get better. Mm-hmm. You know, I don't want kids that's 4th or 5th grade and thinking that they already made it, because I ref these same kids and you can see it. You know, you can see it, and I'm like, well, I hope you don't top out early. You know,
I can respect that because
kids do.
I'm a proponent of that. I'm a product of that. I was definitely a project to start with, but you know that's a whole nother podcast. Yeah. But the plight of coaching AAU basketball, right? It's we got a climate today where kids like to move around. And they pull out of situations when, I don't even want to use the word turbulent, but when things challenge them even a little bit, not all of them, but a lot of them. And so they'll go home and you know, cry to mom and dad.
Yeah,
mom
and dad game and they'll be ready to quit the team.
Or you'll have a kid that
if you have to discipline them. I just had that happen to me. You know, I had a kid who, he was at 11 years old, he was 6 feet tall. And my son is...
Rarity.
You know, my big guy, he was big. Mm-hmm. Couldn't catch, couldn't dribble, couldn't shoot, couldn't rebound, couldn't do hardly anything. He was just big. He was bigger than everybody.
Big project.
Get a rebound, probably put it back in. So, anyways, I put in a lot of time with him, developed him. You know, he can shoot 3 now. You know, he can handle the ball. You know, I mean, and he had some attitude adjustments I had to get with him, but that's what I liked about him, because he was a big guy, but he was, you know, he wasn't gonna be pushed around. Right. You know what I'm saying? So I needed that on my team full of kids who were, not as tough. So I accepted it, you know, developed him. He's 6'6" now. He's a lefty. He's dunking, doing all that. And something changed, you know. I don't know if it was on the court or off the court. Something changed in him a little bit, and his attitude kind of got, was getting out of control. He was, getting kicked out of games and talking to the refs, and and I had to, and all these guys are my peers, the refs, because I ref tonight, So, so I had to, adjust them a little bit, and I had to, and I was past talking. I was like, okay, I'm not talking anymore. You can go ahead and sit next to me. Mm-hmm. You don't start no more. You don't have starter minutes no more. Mm-hmm. Even when you're playing well, I might take you out. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like,
it's just,
it just said, this is my team, not yours. Okay. So, it kind of got into that, so where some of these kids all kids go through it. He need me, I don't need him. Right. And all kids go, I did that at once with my AU coach. Mm-hmm. And so I understood, but at the same instance, I'm like, it's not going to work. Yeah. So, discipline them for a little bit, just to, I'm like, hey man, you still are my guy, but I got to make sure that you stay in your place, because these other guys are looking at you,
You can't lose the team that's around behind one guy.
He was gone. Dad decided to take him from the team and, and let him. all right, man, had a new kid next day. Let's go.
That's
that's just
that's where it runs.
I'm not gonna sit and cry. I'm not gonna bad talk the kid or his dad or nothing like that.
No,
because that's his decision. And wherever he go, I wish him success. Mm-hmm. So, but these kids they're like that, man, and I see it all the time. I'll probably see it tonight. Be a kid playing this age group, and then he's playing up, and then he'll go play down, or he'll play for this team, and then 2 hours later he'll be playing for this team, and that's just how it go, man. Like
it's the climate.
I see it all the time, and I look up like, what happened? I thought you look good with that team. Oh no, man. He benched me one game, so I'm out. One game.
Yeah. So much for being a fighter, I guess. Hey, and have you ever had a kid who you really liked, and maybe they were even a contributor on your team, but their parents were high maintenance, and it made it hard to like the kid almost?
You know what? I've been spoiled in the aspect because I've always had great parents. I always have. And I tell people that, because I dealt with, let's just be honest, I dealt with predominantly white kids, with 2-parent households, good job, this and that and the other. So the parents are involved, like when we travel, we don't have no away games because my parents is in the stands.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? It's just like when I ref, I could tell, like I could be reffing a 4th and 5th grade game and the stands is full.
Right.
As soon as the 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th graders play, gym empty.
Yeah, you got a car now, buddy. Take yourself to the game.
Yeah. Well, not even that. They ride with their friend, ride with their coaches. They ride. You see what I'm saying? So and it, when I look at it, it breaks my heart sometimes. But then I'm saying, parents got to work. My mom couldn't come to my games either. Mm-hmm. She had to work. So and I've seen some parents that just choose not to come to their kids' game. Right. I've had something like that on my team. They come to the game. All right, here you go. I'll be back. A couple of your games over with. Like
I was spoiled on that regard because you saw my parents both of them every game even when I was in college.
Yeah, so now look at that, and then the game is over and I'm like, hey, you got to ride home. Oh, I'm waiting. I'm like,
man, now I want to go home, son. And call them.
Yeah, man, jump in with me. So, but man, it's tough out here because if the kids aren't acting up, it's probably the parent. True, but ultimately the parent makes the decision. That's how I feel. You see what I'm saying? Kids are gonna be kids.
Right.
But you have some kids who are actually in a good situation, but the parent is trying to live through their kid and they won't let the coach coach.
Right.
Let them discipline your kid. Let the coach coach. But then you got some kids that are really talented and they got them with some clown on the sideline cussing and talking crazy to them. Don't know no offense. Don't know no defense. Mm-hmm. Don't know. And and I see all this from reffing. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? I was like, this is bad.
Yeah, it's a bad show, right?
This is bad. This kid is not going to get any better dealing with this clown. But that's the parents' choice because they probably let them play for free or they picking them up every day and all that. I said, man, I don't do that. I've been spoiled. I ain't in my 5 years of the AU ball, I probably had to go pick up 2 kids for practice, and that was on the way to practice down the street from the school. You know what I'm saying?
Nice.
They like I practice down the street from here, and I got to go way to Middle City to get a kid. I ain't never had to do that, so I've been spoiled. So when you do try to get that one, hey man, you do it, and then the first thing they tell you, oh well, can you come get me for practice? And they live in Norman. I'm like,
I can't do it, kid.
I'm not driving all the way to Norman to bring you back to the city to practice, to take you all the way back to Norman, and then to come back home.
Come back home.
And then the whole time your dad is sitting there watching TV or something.
No. You can't do that, man.
Because I'm spoiled. You know what I'm saying? I'm used to having parents that's involved. So that's why I say I don't know if we'll ever be to that elite status that everybody shoot for, because right now, I'm not willing to do that for those type, like jump through all these hoops just to have one talented kid. You know what I'm saying? I'm just not, because there's many other kids out here that need the help, want the help, and the parents is really willing to invest the time, the money, and everything to get their kids the proper, attention. And that's what I like. And that's what I like, man. I'm not gonna, hijack my whole team for one kid and hope that he gets us 2 extra wins than we got last year. You know what I'm saying? Like,
he may end up leaving, or you may end up having to get rid of him at some point anyway.
But he will. That's the thing. Mm-hmm. That kid will end up leaving it, but they'll leave after they've already disrupted your team. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? So and sometimes now you lose good players, you lose good parents. I'm telling you, man, having good parents is so. I'm telling you, man. I see some of these guys. Just like I said, just from reffing, we there at 9 o'clock, and then here the coach come in at 9:10 with a bus full of his kids. Man, I had to go get all these kids, man. Where are the parents at? You see what I'm saying? So when I get in those modes, I'm like, man, I gotta go get a kid. I gotta go get me a dog. I gotta go, and then I may, man, this kid, he probably ain't gonna make it. But then I sit back and think about the parents and and the time they put in the commitment. Winning ain't that serious to me. As long as these kids are developing and they getting some looks.
And the winning will take care of itself at some point.
It will.
Now, here's what I do have to ask you. Because we hear people say, not even just in basketball, but in anything, you hear people say, that's the business, or it's just business. And I feel like a lot of times, and I feel like some people hide, they hide behind that statement, using some maybe some shady tactics by saying it's just business. And so what I want to gear up to ask you is, have you ever had a player, or an instance where you were really invested into this kid, went maybe above and beyond the call of duty, and then they leave on you?
Yeah, the kid I was just telling my big
that was one of them?
Yeah.
Man, how do you not take that personally at least a little bit?
Oh, I did.
Oh, okay.
I did, but I had already experienced it a little bit with my younger group. Mm-hmm. And that's the one I took personally. I don't know why I took that so personally. He's in 3rd grade. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And I took it. It bothered me so bad. And I just told myself I'm not gonna get like that again, because I started seeing it. And I started seeing it, and I started seeing it more and more. And I'm just like, okay, yeah, this is this is the name of the game. This is what guys do, and this is what players do. And so, like I said, with me being a referee, I see it so many times, man. It's crazy. I even asked some of these kids, like, why you ain't with that other team? Yeah, I never seen I'm with them, but I just play with them when I feel like it. I'm just like, I can't have that, know. Like I've talked to a lot of kids where, I talk to their parents. I don't like to go through the kids. I ask the kids if they want to play for, or if they ask me, and then I said the next step is talking to their parents. See, a lot of coaches won't even talk to the parents. They just go through the kid.
I like the kid.
Yeah, they in the kids' inbox and stuff on Facebook and Instagram. I'm like, it's not weird, man. So I'll talk to their parents face to face, on the phone, whatever. I said, before we go any further, I need to talk to your mother. I need to talk to your dad. And so, but you get some parents who tell you from there, oh yeah, we'll come play with y'all, but when y'all know we're gonna go play with this team, and then we'll try to work in practice. I was like, you know what, just go ahead and do that. Yeah, go ahead and do that, because I don't want that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I don't want that, because how we gonna build something if you're constantly being pulled 2 or 3 different ways? Yeah. Now I have some parents that tell me like, all right, well, your priority. Whenever you play, we play. Then if we in a down week or a down couple weeks, then we just go run with a local team. All right, cool. See, I used to be
rigid on that too.
But then I realized, okay, well, you gonna lose some players that way, because you gotta let them do their thing. Because I wouldn't have wanted to be, because I started putting myself in their position. Like when I was 14, I want a coach to say, well, we're not playing this weekend, but you can't go play with nobody else. Well, I want to play.
Yeah.
Because because you don't want your players to go out and get hurt, and then you don't want people in their ear and they eventually take your player. But I just got to a point to where this is where I'm at now. I have my own son to develop now. You see, and I sat my older boys down before we went to nationals this year, and I sat them down. I told them the same thing, like, hey guys, only way this team's gonna work is we all in. If some of you guys are thinking about going to do something else and play with somebody else, hey man, just let me know. Y'all go do what y'all gotta do. Appreciate y'all time. Love y'all. Wish y'all success. I said, but I'm gonna give y'all everything. So I need y'all to give me that same commitment back. That same loyalty, that same respect. So I got a son. So y'all not my sons. But I promise y'all that I'll be here for y'all until y'all get out of high school. Now, if y'all want that, I'm here. If you don't, I shut this team down, Focus on my son. You know.
Yeah.
And that's why I left it. Yeah, there you go. And that's why I left it, because you got to let them know, like, even though I care for you, and I want to see you be successful, I don't have to have you. There's a lot of kids that would want to be in your spot or get the coaching or get the attention that you're getting, or, like I said, all together, I just develop my own son.
There you go. That's a good consolation, if you want to call it that.
And see, and I had to put myself in that mindset to be able to deal with all the, all the people trying to take my players and stuff, and it pisses me off because I put pride in that I developed a lot of my players. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm talking.
They weren't ready made
from 6th grade, 5th grade, 6th grade to they sophomores now, and I put a lot of time in with them, so I can say that with pride. A lot of these guys out here can't say that. They just picking players from other teams, and then eventually they'll get a good 6 or 7 to say, "Oh man, we the best." They the best.
I like they said it. They the best.
Yeah,
not you.
So but it shows when they run against a team that's just as talented and coached well. Mm-hmm. Those kids where the coaches just roll the ball out and say, "Hey, go be better than the other team." It shows. And I see it in high school. I see it in the state tournament last year.
Wow.
A lot of teams that they run through the city and they run to it into a Kingfisher or Kingston, and like them small town schools, they was busting heads, man.
Yeah. They really do this.
Hey,
and they're well-oiled machines too.
Yeah, they was busting heads. So I'm still learning. I don't know everything there is to know about coaching, and I don't have all the answers, but I know I'm gonna give my players 100%. Mm-hmm. I allow my players to talk back and forth with me. I ain't just, hey, I'm the coach. What I say is going, because I had that type of coaching.
Right.
It sucks.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Doesn't translate well to
you want your kids to be able to talk to you, and maybe throw you some ideas every now and then. You take them and you don't.
Okay.
So, but yeah. And I know, I'm sorry, I skipped us all the way to college, and I skipped over to high school.
I'm staying right there, because we both got our jewelry on. You know what I'm saying? And we gotta talk about that. Now, see, obviously, mine is high school. I got to be a state champion.
I still wish I had mine.
Yeah, man. Yeah. It was work, but you got a college ring, NAIA National Champions 2002, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, at USAO, University of Science and Arts of Oklahoma. People always ball their foreheads up whenever I say USAO. Mm-hmm. But tell me about that team and that run, man.
Oh, man, that run, it was amazing, because actually the team that won it, the team the year before was better than the team that won it, to me. Right. We were just more rounded as far as talent-wise, but the team that won it, we just put it together at the right time. You see what I'm saying? Right. And we had a lot of the same guys, but and we picked up some new guys that we didn't have the year before, and it just worked, man. But that run, it was the best time of my life. Best time of my life. And I feel like I can remember every game like it was yesterday. Yeah. Like I just
straight up. You go right back to it.
Bro, it was amazing. It was amazing. I can remember a lot of moments. I mean, stats, words, just what I was thinking on a certain play. When I watch my old tapes, I'm like, I know what I was thinking right there. I know it's something you never forget. Yeah. Because a lot of people don't get to experience that. Because I think about all the teams that were at the bottom all 4 years they was in college. And what and what was crazy is because of a change of fortune, I was actually trying to go to St. Gregory's out of high school because Brandon Manser was a coach at the time.
Are they showing you a lot of love too?
And he was wanting me to. He was having me come down there and work out with them and this and that and the other. And I liked the guys that were there. I was in high school. I wasn't an elite player at all. I was just defensive, lockdown player. Right. I was an average shooter. Didn't get to shoot the ball that much in high school because that was one of the things that coach should have let me go, but he didn't. And I was actually a 6'2" post player in high school.
Wow. You know what? I say wow, but in the state of Oklahoma, in high school, sometimes if you're over 6 feet, that's considered to be tall sometimes.
Yeah, but I had 2 6'8" guys.
That does not make sense.
6'7" guys on my team, you know. But
it
it was my defensive dynamic though. I can guard the 1 through the 5, and so he just kind of used me there. But he did. I played for Tommy Griffin High School, and I feel like he taught me a lot of things about discipline, dealing with my attitude, and getting the street out of me, and he helped me a lot in that fashion. But I felt like offensively, he pulled the reins in on me though. And I felt like I could have helped him more because during the summers, my AU coach would let it fly, and I was successful. And then I get back to high school, like, nope, this is what I got, and this is where we stay in. I was like, it sucked, but I did whatever I need to do to get on the court. So, but the run of USAO, man, it was amazing. I mean, I don't even that's all I can really say. It was. We got excited about it because the year before, my freshman year, we were pretty good. We was in the Red River Conference with Langston, Northwestern, Houston Baptist, Houston Tilson, all those teams. And Southwest Assembly of God, all those. Now they're in the SAC. But we were pretty good. We were pretty good, man. And we played for the conference championship. We lost to Northwestern by, I think, 3 points or something. They went on to the tournament. We went home. But the year before that, they had won the Red River Conference. And so USAO they were trending up,
knocking on that door.
They were trending up, and then man, I'm telling you, this is where you know it's all about recruiting. No matter how good of a coach you are, how bad of a coach you are, if you got players, you can make it work as long as you don't mess them up. You know what I'm saying? So the next year we got Big Randy in from Georgia. Alvin Bateman came in from Georgia. That Randy 6'10", Alvin 6'8". Both could jump out of the gym. Devin Washington in. He was recruited to Iowa State right out of high school. Who else do we have? Mark Mayfield. Man, we just had guys come in from different areas, and we still had our core guys, which was like me, Hayden, Richard Romeo, Darren, AD, Adrian Anderson, and this is in 2001, and so we just clicked, man. We started out the season 6-0, and then we went to Cameron and played because we thought we was like, man, this team is so good, we going undefeated.
We might run the table.
Yeah, and we lost to Cameron at Cameron in their classic, and we were devastated. Like our season was over. It was Game 7. We in the locker room crying.
Christmas yet.
We hurting. Yeah, it was right before Christmas break. It was the last game before Christmas break.
Oh, so you had to go home and think about it.
And so that just witnessing that pain and that we knew, and this is what Briscoe shared with me. He was like, seeing how y'all were in that locker room after just a regular game, he said, I knew we had something special, and because you guys wanted to win. And after that, we won 21 straight games after that. And what remotivated us, because it was our first year in the Sooner Athletic Conference. Sooner Athletic Conference was tough back then. It's a little watered down now because it's a lot of different teams, but it was really tough. And preseason poll come out, USAO dead last. They say what place and it made sense because it made sense because we were the new team in the league. Like we ain't why would we put y'all in? And so we posted that and okay, cool.
And guys,
for every game let's go ahead and get this, man. And we what triggered it is that coach brought us into the locker room, and we were going to play Lubbock Christian and Wayland Baptist, and we called that the Texas Swing.
I remember
there
that.
you go. And I keep forgetting you played for Briscoe.
Yeah, well, we went to the same institution years apart. We could always get Wayland, but we never could get Lubbock.
See, and then so what he preached, he said, man, and what was crazy is Wayland and Lubbock were ranked at the time. USAO had never been ranked in school history.
Right. And
he said, man, all we're trying to do is get a split. You need to be one team or the other. We don't want to come back with 2 losses. He said, he was telling you'd be lucky to get a split. And we look at each other like, we about to go down here and beat both of them. But we don't know because this is our first time in the conference, We go out there. Wayland got a 7'2" African. He just blocking everything, this and that. And the other guy had a 6'5" guy that just beast mode. Anyways, we went and won both games.
Wow.
And that kind of ignited us because after we beat Wayland the night before, beat Lubbock the 1 o'clock game, the 3 o'clock game the next day, and we thought we had won the conference already. We jumping around like, yeah, he said we was gonna split. We got 2.
Now, do you think Coach meant that when he said it, or was that just?
I think it was a tactic, but I think he knew that it was important that we knew trip, and that kind of ignited something in us, man. And we never looked back, and we just kept going.
Did y'all lose another one?
We didn't lose another one until the conference tournament, championship game with conference tournament. We lost to Lubbock Christian.
They got y'all back.
And we had smacked them twice during the year.
The law of averages, as they say.
But we were at their place. They had a conference tournament in Lubbock at their place. They had knocked off OCU, OBU, so they was on the road. They got hot at the right time.
Yeah.
And they beat us. They beat us in the championship, and then we ran through the tournament. Should have lost 2 of those games, and came back and won. Yeah, and made it to the championship and played our worst game ever. I think I was 1 for 15 from the field. We had broke a NCAA record of most threes made as a team the night before, and broke a record most shot missed the next night. It was all bad, man. So, and that bringing that bitterness into the next year. A couple of new players, new attitude, but with the same goal. And here go Briscoe again with his tactics. I don't know if it was genuine or not, but towards the end of the season, we was tapered off a little bit, and because that first year we had only lost 3 games,
right,
the whole year.
True that.
And every one of them was a championship game in the Cameron tournament, championship game in the conference tournament, national championship. Those are the only 3 games we lost.
Golly, yeah. I can understand how that would make a team hungry as hell.
Hungry and salty, right? So we come back up. Sorry. So we come back next year, new attitude, go have a good season, up and down. We'll, win 6-7 games, give 1 away, win 6-7 games, give 1 away. We in the last practice before we go to the conference tournament, and I think we was half-assed going through practice, just wanting to get it over with, this and then the other. And Briscoe just shut down practice on. He's like, you know what, I'm done. I ain't messing with y'all. He said, y'all want the season to be over? Then fine. He said, we'll go ahead and go to Lubbock, because we went back to Lubbock for the conference tournament. Lose that game, go to Nationals, lose that game, then you can go home. He said, y'all ain't gonna do, we just gonna go out here and lose. It's gonna be over with. And sent us to the locker room. We all went in the locker room, and I was just like, man, we gotta do something, man. What y'all gonna do? We all started talking amongst ourselves. Shoot, we went back out there and started practicing. By ourselves. We just, hey, let's go, man. And a couple players stay on the sideline and coach, and we was scrimmaging, and then went to the conference tournament, got the championship again, lost again by 3.
Dude.
OCU. Mm-hmm. OCU. Then went to the national tournament, man, and we just got hot. And we that first game was always the hardest one to get.
Right.
We barely got past Curl, Montana. Got past them, and after that we steamrolled, man. We steamrolled. Beat Biola by 29. Beat Houston Tillerson, had them down by 30 at halftime.
Jeez.
Went into overtime with Barrett and beat them. At this point, at my 3 years at USAO, we had never lost an overtime game ever. So when we went into overtime, I was like, we getting this. We getting it. And actually, the game was over until Hayden hit. Have you seen that shot? Hayden hit.
You got to send that to me.
I have to show you. We're down. Rest.
I mean, it wouldn't be right without
because they was the Cinderella team, man. And Rest was trying to give it to him, man. I was so hurt. Like, I still get emotional watching that game now because the rest was trying to get us, man. Anyways, we're down 3 with like 15 seconds to go. We run the play, run the same little play we running, push the ball down the floor, kicked it there and drove, boop, kicked it to Hayden. Hayden, dude hit his arm and everything. You see it on the video. Boop, ball, went in, tied the game. We going crazy, but we still got to play defense. They got the final shot.
Jack.
Boom, boom. He misses the shot. We hike going into overtime. won in overtime, and then we kicked OBU's ass in the national championship because they had beat us by 40 earlier that year.
Oh, so y'all foaming at the mouth for them then.
Oh man!
And they got to that jewelry, huh?
Got it. We finally got it, man. I was just like, wow. But you know, even with having this, I'm still salty about the previous year because that one was lined up for us, man. And we called that the season of destiny because everything just went right.
Yeah. You
know, and we didn't like just blow out people through we had a whole bunch of close games that we end up winning. And that's why we was just like, man, this is.
It's got to be in the cards for us.
It's in the cards, man. You know, we had team controversy. Guys almost getting kicked off. Guys almost fucking out. You know,
all that.
Just crazy stuff, man. You know.
But, you know, I'm glad you said that because you segued me into the last thing I want to ask.
Okay.
I asked this to every one of my guests, especially those that are athletes and coaches now, or both. It's like, this is how I know we're harder on ourselves than anybody else could ever be on us because I'm pretty sure you've had way more good moments in your history in this sport than bad ones. But your mind goes back to the bad ones first. You know what I mean?
So, got away.
Yeah. So I want to ask you about the one that got away. If you could pick any game or any opponent, whether it's team or an individual, that they got the best of you and you feel like they should, whether we're talking at the college level or at the high school level or at the pro level. If you can pick one, that's the one you go back to? You want that one
because Faulkner, Alabama had some good players, but they weren't better than us. They weren't better than us, man. And we didn't shoot the ball well. We shot. I mean, we probably shot like 16% behind the 3-point line, and we're used to shooting 45 and up. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We missed
uncharacteristic game.
Yeah, it was crazy. We couldn't make nothing, and they only beat us by 4. And the only reason why they got that one, check this out, the game, we're down 3. Yeah. Down 3 with, under a minute to go. Maybe under 30 seconds to go. We figure, we're down 3. We're only down 2. I had just hit a big 3 to put us down 1. Down 2. He hits a free throw. No, put us down 2. He hits a free throw to put them up 3, right? So he goes to shoot the second free throw. We get this rebound. Now we have a chance to go down and tie the game with all the great shooters that we got. Because we had just hit like back-to-back 3s.
They got the boy y'all
Big Randy gave up the rebound. And then we had to foul the boy. I remember his name. His name was Paul Little, big white kid. He was a solid player, man. He was pretty good. He went back to the line. Yeah, and he still split. He missed the first one, hit the second one, put us down 4, came down, shot 3, game over. You see what I'm saying? And it's like, as bad as we played, we still almost won the game.
Still had a chance.
You see what I'm saying? So all we had to do was just have a subpar game, and we'd beat them.
Mike Will, I appreciate you, bro. I'm glad we can finally connect and make it happen, man.
Yeah, yes, sir.
Walking down the memory lane on me.
Yes, sir. Let's do this again, man. This is fun.
Oh, yeah, definitely.